Hold on. Hey, Maria.
Yeah.
How's it going? Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. You say it out loud and you feel it and you really believe it, even though it's not true. I'm doing
Well,
great.
I saw somebody was a 10,000 vaccine recipient at Woodhull Hospital.
Man, my arm still hurts, Justine.
Okay.
I can't. That was so funny. That was so funny.
mm,
Oh my God. Like, what? What do you mean I'm the 10,000? No, you're the 10,000. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Did you get a prize or?
Yeah, I got a vaccine.
Oh,
For free.
I don't know. They asked for my insurance card. I don't know.
Yeah, they got mine too, actually. I thought we were getting it for free, but I guess if your insurance covers it, they'll take that too.
Yeah, that's okay because that means that it lets them spread the love where it's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Why not?
okay, we got everybody on except Sonia. I don't know if she's gonna be on. I haven't heard from her. So
Have we
maybe,
heard any, and have we heard about Marie? Anything? I know she's had surgery today. Any word?
I
Oh,
haven't heard anything.
Okay, I haven't either. Okay.
You hear me, Simon?
Yes, Simon.
hi,
Hi,
Simon.
Simon, how are you?
I'm dialing in, but I can see you, but I can't. My computer somehow, I don't know why. I have to call. I'm dialing in, but I'm seeing you live. You know what I mean?
Okay, peekaboo, we can see you, but you can't see us. Peekaboo.
No, I can see you, but I can't. I can hear you on the telephone, but I can't hear you via the computer. That's what I meant.
Well, that's why I said peekaboo. You can see us, but we can't see you.
No?
You know the game peekaboo the kids play?
Yeah, but can you see me?
No,
Whoa.
no, we don't see you.
Um, uh, Phil is on. Now let's just get started with the agenda. Everybody got a copy of the agenda? It was laid out pretty well for us, so we just have to go down the, go down the agenda, and if this is the way we want the layout to be, or if we want to move something. But I think the way it's laid out, it looks pretty good. Unless somebody sees something that they want to move up or move down.
On my agenda, it looks like 1 and 3 are the same things.
No, Dell, they're two separate projects, Dell.
I saw that somewhere, but on the agenda I printed out,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, maybe it just,
No, one is the Greenpoint Hospital site.
yes, yes.
And 3 is the Jennings Hall site. Because yeah.
I saw that in
Right.
when
Maria, why don't you just go ahead and rotate yours?
in what
You
Marie,
did that, huh?
and what Marie printed out for the actual community board agenda, it
Right.
does have 2 different things. In the printout for the presentation request that we get to look at, the 1 and 3 are the same things. So it's okay. It's
But I know because I'm on that board, and
Well, I saw one for Greenpoint Hospital site and one for Jennings Hall.
yeah, that's
it-
what it is. That's
yeah,
what it is.
okay. That's in the printout for the
Yeah, that's
actual
good.
community board meeting notice.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
We see you now, Simon. So-
I have something once we're finished with the order, I have something that I wanted to bring up to the executive committee. I don't know if we're ready for that yet.
Okay, well,
Okay,
If it's just, there's only the 3 items, and if everybody's comfortable with the way they're presented, I'll make a motion to accept the 3 items.
I second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
Okay, so we'll leave it like it is, so that completes the setup of the agenda. Does anybody else have anything else? That's it, that's
Yes,
nothing
I
else
have.
for the
no, no.
agenda. Wait a minute, Jill.
Okay.
There's nothing else for the agenda. We will go into whatever you want to discuss, as long as it don't take a long time, because I'm on the clock here.
Okay. I would like to discuss Trina McKeever's removal from the Environmental Committee and the many requests by board members to reinstate her on that committee. And I'm joining in that request. I'm hoping to get some support from the Executive Committee, but in order to do so, I think it's only fair if I give a little bit of background. About over a year ago, when we were still meeting in person, hi Sante. Over a year ago, when we were still meeting in person, Trina came up to you, Dialis, and I happened to be present. We were just standing there, and she asked you to reconsider your appointment of her as the chair of the Environmental Committee. And she said she didn't feel she had the proper expertise. She said she was very interested in the committee. She would work hard on it. And she felt that Steve Chesler would be the better chair for the committee. When you did not remove her and did not appoint Steve, then apparently the Environmental Committee met and decided they would run it as like a co-op, and whoever had the most expertise in a particular report for a particular report would give it. And so that's the way it's been for some time. I don't think anything was ever done about it. And then recently, we saw an email from you, Dialis, to Trina saying that apparently she wasn't interested in being the chair of the Executive Committee, which we know she told you right up front she didn't feel qualified, and that therefore, since she's not interested, you were appointing Steve Chesler, who was the one she wanted you to appoint in the first place. But then you also removed her completely from the Environmental Committee. Now, at the time Trina asked you to remove her, I was there, and I told you, in my opinion, you cannot force somebody to be the head of a committee. You cannot force.
I don't remember you being part of that conversation, Dale.
Well, I was there, and I told you that.
I didn't say you wasn't there. I said I don't remember you being part of that conversation.
That's fine. That's fine. And so, but I told you that there's an echo. Somebody must have two things on. So I did tell you at the time.
Simon, push *6 and mute your phone.
I did tell you I felt that you could not force somebody to be.
I don't remember having a conversation with you on this thing.
That's fine. That's fine. But that's my recollection. And I also supported appointing Steve as the chairperson of that committee. Now, we're now at the point where I am afraid that we are going to lose Trina, not only on the Environmental Committee, but I believe she is not going to reapply because and in my opinion, the email really damaged her standing on the board. I mean, and just to put it in context, she has religiously been a part of that committee. She has religiously contributed to that committee. She told you right up front she didn't feel comfortable being the chair, but was very interested in the committee. The new chair of that committee has requested that you put her back. People on my land use committee and landmarks committee have requested that you put her back. Members of the women's committee have requested that you put her back. I can't answer for Phil and whether he also wants to have her put back on the Environmental Committee. But what I can say is I believe that she is a very valuable member of this board. And I believe that I can understand how she would not remain on the board after being removed from a committee that she has shown tremendous devotion to. And in contrast, as you all know, I had 4 members on my land use committee who hadn't shown up for 6 months in a row. Nothing, no indication as to whether they were interested or not. And yet I wrote to each one of them individually, not to the board, not just individually, reminded them that they haven't shown up for 6 months, asked them, please let me know if you're interested in staying and if you can make a commitment to come. And each one then said, yes, they were. And I told them, okay, fine. I didn't just kick them off. And it seems to me that would have been more than enough grounds to remove somebody. Now, Trina, on my committee, and I don't want to lose her, she is the chair of the subcommittee, the Landmarks Committee. She has been incredible as the chair of that. She has a great relationship with the landmarks people. She is really knowledgeable. She is an incredible participant and leader in the landmarks subcommittee. She's very devoted to land use. And as I said, the new chair, Steve, of the environmental committee wants her on that committee. Other people on that committee have asked you to reinstate her. I'm not asking for a big fanfare. I'm just asking that you agree to put her back on the committee and not risk our losing her as a board member.
Now, this is Phil. I'm glad you asked me my opinion. She's my co-chair on the Parks Committee, and I can tell you I wouldn't want anybody else. She is super dedicated. This is the first I've heard of that. I will second you 1,000%. I would not want to lose her off of this board.
Again, Dialis, I'm not asking for any big deal. I'm just asking just to give a commitment, just to say yes. You'll put her back on the committee. I don't want to make any more of this than this.
Dale, I thought about this, Trina. She was the co-chair. And by right, generally, when you got a chair and a co-chair, if something happens to the chair, you go to the co-chair. Nobody signed up for this committee. I appointed her to this committee as chair, and I thought she would do the job, but apparently she deferred everything to Chester. And it's to me, she had no interest in chairing this committee. And I appreciate everybody reaching out to me and going to bat for her. And she's an asset to your committees. There's no reason for her to leave the board if she's an asset to your committees. I stand by my decision.
Dialysis, in my opinion, is an absolute abuse of your discretion. There's no reason. Steve Chesler is the chair of that committee, and he has asked you to put her back on the committee. She doesn't have to be the co-chair of that committee. You can appoint somebody else on that committee as the co-chair, but she is a valuable member, and to remove her is really it just seems vindictive. And you have so many people asking you to put her back on the committee. How many more messages do you need that she's wanted on both the environmental committee, and we will lose her? And I can't blame her for feeling she has to leave, because the email that you sent out removing her really sounded very vindictive and was negative, and it was very disparaging, and it was really not something that she should have to put up with. And I will bring this to the full board if I have to. I just don't want to.
And read your bylaws. It's the chair appoints and the chair moves.
Absolutely. And I think this is an absolute abuse of your discretion. I think it's vindictive. And I will bring it to the full board if I must. I will have it, whether it's on the agenda or whether I just have to bring it up under old or new news. But we're asking you to put her back. Not only me, but Phil is asking you to put her back.
Dale, do what you have to do. She has no reason to leave the board if she's an asset to your committee and Phil's committee, and she's still the chair of the land use committee. There's no reason for her to leave the board. I stand by my decision.
This executive committee needs to have equitable and fair leadership. And I think that this seems vindictive. And there is the mere fact that she didn't feel she wanted to be the chair of that committee is not a ground to remove her from the committee. There is no validity to that ground. And I think for the sake of giving the message that you are a fair person and you can listen to the requests of other people, I'm asking you to reconsider. I mean, what's the big deal of just letting her go back on that committee? What harm could it cause? Aside from you're just deciding arbitrarily, you've got the power and
It's
nobody
not
can
about
question
power.
it.
It's not about power. It's not about power.
It is about power. It is, because there's no reason.
That's your fucking opinion.
Yes, it is my opinion. And it's the opinion of many people and of three different chair people
So
of
be it.
three different committees.
So
And
be it.
how you can just do this, I don't understand. And I would like some support, any support from anyone else on the executive committee.
Does anybody else have anything to add to this conversation?
I just want to ask. I have a question actually, and I'm not up to speed on what's happening. I wasn't privy to these conversations, so I'm hearing about all of this for the first time here, about her removal from the environmental committee. I don't understand why she was removed. If did Trina sign up for the committee? Did she sign up to be a member of that committee? Is that
Yes.
how this went down? And she was denied the
No, she was on the committee, but she didn't feel that she had the expertise to be the chair of the committee. And
Okay.
so she was sharing some of the responsibility for making the reports with other members, but because she asked Dialis to appoint Steve and that she would just be a member. This went on for quite some time where they shared giving the reports, and then Dialis wrote an email to her telling her she was obviously not interested in chairing the committee and apparently not interested in being on the committee, and removed her not only as chairperson, but as from the committee completely. She asked Dialis to put her back on the committee because she spent so much time and effort with that committee. The chair of that committee has asked her to put her back on. The women's committee has asked her. Phil Caponegro is now joining in that request, and I am joining in that
I
request.
would hate to lose her.
I don't want to lose
I would
her.
hate to lose her. You know
So
what?
if I may, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
if I may, was there a reason given why she should not be allowed to be part of that committee
She wasn't performing the duties that she was appointed to.
as the chair?
Exactly.
And when that responsibility was passed on to Steve Chesler, there was no opportunity for her to stay on as a member of the committee, not necessarily the
Like
chair.
I said, I felt like she had no interest in the committee.
Oh, come on. She's never missed a meeting. She's devoted hours and hours to that committee. And Steve Chesler and the rest of the members of that committee confirm that she is so interested in the committee and has been devoted to that committee. There are no grounds, there is no evidence for you to think that she's not interested in that committee.
I can attest to the fact that she was very interested in the committee and we collaborated on the reports. She did all the organizing, scheduling the meetings, helping getting the presenters in, and participated in the questioning of presenters and running the meetings. And she was very much interested. But she
Well,
felt overwhelmed.
that's why everybody's telling me all this, and I know she's been a good member. I appreciate everything she's done, and I look forward to working with her. But she didn't show me that. She didn't show me that. She showed it to you. She didn't show it to me.
You're muted, Del.
Del, you're muted.
You're muted.
I
Okay.
myself,
Now,
she asked you, you cannot equitably or morally insist that somebody be a chair of a committee in our situation. And then when she has people on her committee help her and share the responsibility, you can't then turn her and she's there and she's devoted. You can't turn around and say, well, she's not, hasn't shown that she's interested in the committee. She was honest with you up front. Dialis, this is not a good look.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Simon, I want to make sure you hear me. I'm sorry.
Yes, Simon.
I know. I want to, Chair. Basically, I mean, according to the letter which you wrote to Ms. McKeever, it just says that she'd given the report to Mr. Chesler. So I mean, that doesn't show, having no interest in the committee. I mean, and there's no warning or something. I think it's, I think she's been very, very, faithful member, and I think we should. I think I think you should reconsider that. And she takes this issue so personal. I think it's. I think we should. You should reconsider that.
I'm not taking it personal. I'm not removing her from the board. I'm only removing her from a committee.
Yeah, but she takes it very personal, and it's. I mean, the letter is. I mean, it looks very. She takes it very personal. I mean, I would take such a letter personal.
I would too. I would too.
is
I
that,
would
did
even-
that letter go to the whole board?
I'm so sorry.
Is it something I have to look for to find?
Yes, it did.
It went to the whole board. Can you tell
It
me what
went-
date?
It went to the whole board.
Yes.
What date? Do you know?
Oh, a while back.
Oh, stuff gets buried in my email.
February 10. February 10.
February 10th. Thank you.
They just checking in. I was having trouble.
Wow, February 10th. Jesus Christ.
Is there anything else?
Well, I would agree that, if she has had excellent attendance on this committee and she's been committed to the committee, and it's a committee where she has participated and been a participant, she should continue on the committee. She's valued by the chair of the committee and she's had excellent attendance versus what has happened with other members in other committees where you don't have that excellent attendance or participation. So I would say my vote would be for her to be on the committee.
Okay, let
Can
me
I-
just say,
can-
that- let
can
me say this, and this is gonna end the conversation. I understand what everybody's saying. I know that, this is not being done out of being vindictive. I know that Trina's put a lot of work in on this board. Everybody's put a lot everybody's put a lot of work on this board. When somebody gets appointed, everybody that's a chair, they got appointed. I've seen everybody give their reports, perform. I don't go to committee meetings. I don't know what people are doing behind the scenes. That's why I saw no interest. She showed me no interest in this committee. So I felt like you'll give every meeting we've had, Chester chairs the meeting, Chester reads the report. And I have not seen her do anything with the committee. You've seen it, but I haven't seen it. So, as far as I'm concerned, she was doing nothing with the committee. She was deferring it to everybody else.
But now
So my-
now you know different. And so I'm asking you, in light of the fact that you now have different information, that you will agree to let her go back on the committee. Now that you've gotten different facts.
I will take it under consideration, and that ends the conversation. And I got to jump off. I got one more thing that I want to bring to the executive board's attention. I don't know if it's I don't know. The women's committee wants to do something for Women's Month, and they want to do it on Zoom, and they want to know if it's a conflict, and Jerry, you might be able to help me out with this, that we'll be out of compliant. If it's a committee meeting, they want to do it so they'll have more people on there. They're planning it for March 30th. And Maloney has already, assembly, whatever. Maloney has agreed to speak to the group, and they want to do it on Zoom because they feel like they can have more people on, and it's
Law
easier.
Department has directed us to use WebEx.
So if it's a committee function, they can't do it outside of WebEx.
Any
Yeah,
board function should be using, as directed by the Law Department, WebEx.
Okay, because they wanted clarification, and I told them I would have to get clarification, because I didn't know if a committee could do something with a committee using another platform. Okay? Okay, thank you.
So what was the ask?
What, but, yeah,
What
what
was
is,
the,
what are they
what
asking?
is the ask
The ask
exactly?
is they want to do it on Zoom.
Oh,
So I just have to tell them they do it, and on the committee, they have to do it on WebEx.
so
Any other comments or questions?
well, there was another issue that we wanted to raise, Del, and that's about the racial assessment report that we met with, in collaboration with the Housing Committee. We wanted to raise the issue of that we all agreed that should it become legislation and it's a matter that has to be debated, it should be a land use, a ULURP matter, not a housing matter. We can meet with housing to discuss issues or impact, but it speaks more to the land use and ULURP committee than it does, because it's requesting variances and it's about zoning. So it's not necessarily a housing issue, and I don't see how the housing committee can even vote or debate or just meet with developers on those issues.
So you don't feel like the housing should be a part of it, even though when they zone, they're gonna zone for housing too, and want to make sure that we get some housing on it that we can afford?
It can be, absolutely, it can be a collaborative effort. We can meet, we can have a joint meeting. There's nothing wrong with it. But the issue itself is a matter that speaks to the Land Use and ULURP Committee.
Because it's not
Okay.
just,
It's about zoning.
yeah, zoning, like commercial zonings and residential zonings, all rezonings.
Well, okay, if land use want it, you got it.
Well, it's not that we want it. I think it's that that's where it rightfully
Well,
belongs.
I'm just saying, if you want it, you got it.
So, can you give us an idea of when you would let Trina know, or?
I will take it
about-
under consideration, Del.
But there's a limit because
I
time.
will take it under consideration.
That's not an answer. Can you give us some time? Because she has to make up her mind right away whether she will be re-upping for the board, or whether she's just going to let it slide.
Can I give my testimony too, if it's possible? I know I'm new to the board, and I want to say something really, because a lot of you, I didn't know you from before. I knew when I was just a resident coming to complain, and maybe, and even with Trina, there was a time where, just as a citizen, I have tension with that. But I have to say that I learned by working on the landmark committee, and not a lot of people has been active. I believe I've been pretty active, Trina, and we start collaborating on issue and application, and I believe a certain bonding started and developed, and that's the commitment. And normally I'm very committed and I'm passionate and I talk too much sometimes, but I found that response in somebody like Trina, that I learned to understand her dedication, her pragmatism. So even me be part of the landmark committee, I will feel would be a major, major loss not to have somebody like Trina generally in the committee, in the community board. And I do not know what she did, but definitely a question that I have, and I'd love to understand, is anything specific in the bylaw? I mean, that could happen to me, and I would not want to happen, that a co-chair cannot read the report. Is something that should have not been, maybe she wasn't aware? Is that a violation of something? That's something that I'd love to understand myself, generally. You know, if that was the reason that demonstrated her not being really interested in the committee. Again, I'm not part of the committee. I have no idea how much she worked that other people can testify on that. That's all.
Okay, is there anything else? Because I really have to run, folks. And
Madam Chair, before
I
you,
got a
thank you.
problem here with I got a red light and it's keep going up and down, so I don't know if I'm gonna get cut off.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your time.
I
And
really- we
before you
really-
go, no, before, hang
No,
on a
really,
minute, Del.
Trina needs a response
Del,
to this.
hold on a second. Can I finish my
Yes,
thought?
please.
I
Sure.
was just going to ask Madam Chair if she could please reconsider the decision of removing and bring Trina back to the committee. It's an issue that she's passionate about. Perhaps she didn't have bandwidth to chair the committee because, you know, we don't know what folks are doing in their lives, and she probably just couldn't manage it, you know, and she was asking for help. Maybe she needed a co-chair. I don't know, who knows? There are other committees that have co-chairs and they, you know, kind of ping pong stuff off each other, and that's how it works out because people don't necessarily have the time sometimes necessary to dedicate to these actions. So I would ask if you would please, Madam Chair, reconsider your decision, give it some thought. That's it.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Okay. Hello?
Okay. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Sonia,
Good night.
Yes.
Sonia, I'm so sorry to hear about your dad. So
Oh, yes,
Thank
Sonia, I'm
you.
sorry.
we're thinking
Sonia, I'm